Good evening and welcome to Talking V8s. Tonight I'm joined by three guests from the same family, Paul, Matt and Stephen Young. Welcome and thank you for joining me tonight.
Hello, you right?
Hello.
Hello, you okay?
Good, thank you. So before becoming involved in V8s, what did you all do before? Did you have any previous race experience at all?
Yeah, I used to race Formula Twos with square wheels long while ago. 1300s screamers. It was very good. I enjoyed it. Met the missus there, so you know what I mean. But yeah, we had a real good time there. It was really enjoyed it. I did every meeting as I could. Went everywhere in the world. Made some good friends, some really good enemies, and Ray Tilsley was one of my best friends, and yeah, it was very, very good. And you never lose the bug to go racing. That's what basically is. Obviously, Matthew and Stephen have taken over really. So yeah, it's a really, really a good life we've had. It's been always adventurous and lots of things to do, and I've really enjoyed it. You know what I mean? So it's yeah. So these are now taking over. So hopefully, it can do better than what I did. Hopefully.
So Paul, would you say that you were successful in your FD career?
Yeah, I was mainly red top, went to blue, red top, went to blue. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah, it was very, very good. I travelled and I did virtually every meeting I could. Went all around the country, Taunton, St. Day, Skegness through the week, every single week, Scotland, everyone I could do. It. Obviously, money was the main part of it, but yeah, we really we travelled everywhere, and I really enjoyed it. I think there was about 630 drivers registered. I think there's something like that, and I got up to number 13, which I thought was pretty good.
Really good, yeah. So moving on, Stephen, you had a spell in minis. What was that like?
Yeah, I did it for 2 years, to be honest. Started when I was 13, and I started off enjoying it. But then it just started wasn't gelling with it, wasn't my cup of tea. Until we just thought I'm not enjoying it, so we'll just end there really when I was 15, and then had a year out, and then we joined the V8s.
So what got you all into racing in the first place then? Where does that come from?
The boss. I think we could say that. Yeah, it's his fault. No, I think the first time I went was to Bellevue. We always went to Bellevue when it was on Monday, Sunday, whenever it was, and when I was probably 6 early on, and then from there on, just wanted to go everywhere.
So what got you into it then, Paul?
Bellevue was a place to go. The old Bellevue, which was electrifying. As soon as you walked through the turnstiles, it was unbelievable. Really, it was such as Coventry, Bellevue all had the same type of feeling. It was like static. It was just unbelievable, and it was in the days of Stuart Smith and Wolf and Dern and all that lot. It was just really, really close. The racing was absolutely fantastic, right to the wire, just flat out. It was awesome, and it was really unbelievable. And obviously, that's where I got the bug from. And then I followed it all over, basically northwest, and a bit further in the first time. And then I thought, right, well, I think I'll have a go. And that's basically what I did. I right at the beginning, before I went to Stockcars, I did buy a Formula 2, and I raced it on grass track, but they didn't like the bumpers on it. So I had to cut them off because I tend to use them a bit. So I had to cut my bumpers off because I was bending them on other people, but there we go. Yeah, but that's where we started off from, and then we went racing Formula 2s at BriSCA, which was, yeah, I really, really enjoyed.
Matt and Stephen, you both say that you prefer racing on tarmac. So why is that?
To be honest, it's just sort of, you know, shale's a very different sort of thing to get used to than it is on tarmac. You know, obviously you sort of drive on the roads and all that sort of stuff. You have a bit of a feel for tarmac and things anyway. Getting out on shale's a completely different sort of ball game altogether. It is good, don't get me wrong, you know, I enjoy my shale meetings and stuff like that, but the thing for me is that I find it very hit and miss. You either have a really good meeting or you have a really bad meeting, and you know, the sort of limited amount of meetings that I do, it just means that I can sort of not guarantee having a good meeting. Obviously, you still have your good and your bad on the tarmac, but tend to have a bit better look on the tarmac and enjoy it a little bit more because of that. So that's a lot of the time I tend to go for more tarmac racing.
Is that the same for you, Matt? I mean, do you enjoy the shale as well? As well as the tarmac, or, you know, are you much preferring the tarmac?
Is that for me or for Stephen?
Sorry for Stephen, sorry.
No, I definitely prefer the tarmac. We've never really gone well on shale. We've had probably one meeting where we've been half decent, but nothing special. So it's always,
you're not Guy Jolly, are you?
we're not. We're not proper shale, man. So, but you know, we've got to learn, haven't we? So hopefully this year we can have a proper setup on shale, and we can have a good go, and hopefully
put Guy like Jolly in the fence in shale.
I'll tell him you said that. So,
wow.
So your day jobs then, do they impact on your racing at all? Do they help with that? How does that, how does that fall in?
Well, go on, I'll let you two go.
Well, we have a garage. We have a family garage. Stephen works for me, or sometimes he thinks I work for him, but there we go. Yeah, yeah. So basically, that's where we are. It's very, very busy. Do all sorts of stuff. A lot of American cars, you name it, we do it. And then we very, very rare touch the cars through the day. Very, very rare, because we just haven't got the time.
Yeah.
So then basically most nights we tend to 5:30, then we just go straight into the other place where we keep the cars, and then we just get stuck into the stock car. So really we're racing, we're fixing cars all day and then fixing stock cars at night, so we can get a bit tedious at times, you know what I mean? In fact, it's a bit of a pain in the ass as well, but there we go. But yeah, we've got to be done.
Them?
Is what?
Is that because the boys keep breaking them then?
We try not to. We don't want to do that.
Matthew's good at that. Yeah, he's great. Yeah. So that's what we do. Really, we do it, and we just get stuck in. Matthew turns up when he can, because he's got a different life to us, really. Because Matthew's got obviously he's married and he's got other things. Stephen's really
we got no life. Stock cars. That's it.
Yeah. So we just get stuck in, and then we do most nights. What do we do? If we just a couple of nights a week, whatever. Sometimes it can get a bit busy, because if we've had damage or whatever, we just stick the hours in. And if you don't do the hours, you waste your time going out on track because the car's not right.
Yeah.
So so that's where we do. We're very lucky, really, in what we do, what we've got. We've got a big space to repair. They're all in their own spot. So yeah, gets a bit untidy at times, but there we go. We're a lucky family for what we've got, really.
Yeah. So how did you become involved in the V8s then?
It's quite a difficult one, really, because it was we finished minis. We had a year off, and we were saying we want to do something, but what do we want to do next? And we looked at all sorts, Formula 2s, even just normal mass cars or stuff like that. Just what can we do? And then we
can spend my money on, yeah.
Yeah. we went to Buxton, not to just to watch Formula 1s, and the V8s were actually on, and it sort of tickled our fancy, really, and then the rest is history. We went out, bought a car, and then my dad wanted to do it more, wanted to have another go, so he went and bought a car, and then he turned out he was too old, which I said he would be, but there we go.
He's not impressed with that, Stephen. I think
Well,
he's
you
find
know,
himself
he
in
gives me
trouble.
enough stick through the day, so he's got to have an answer.
So who would you say then, this is going to cause a bit of controversy, who would you say is the better driver of you all?
I'm not answering that one. Me mum.
There's only one Brits up in the family at the moment.
Stephen, you had a good 2020 season, finishing high up in the points. Do you feel a new confidence following your new car last year?
Yeah, definitely. It was we had our old car, which was a great car. But it was an old car, if that makes sense. We went as far as we could with it, altering everything we can. But it was frustrating because, not sounding big-headed, I knew I could drive and I knew I could go somewhere, but the car was just sort of lacking, holding me back really. But the confidence last year we just sort of treated it as a practice. But going into this year, we're 100% confidence with the car, and hopefully we can have a good season with it.
Yeah. So, who would you say then is the most competitive out of the three of you?
All three.
Yeah, me. We won't agree on anything.
Depends who you ask.
So are they, when you're racing and you're all, both Matt and yourself, Stephen, are racing, are there any team orders when racing together?
Put me in the fence.
Yeah.
Was that put each other in the fence?
No, not really. No. Just we look out for each other. We don't want to be bending each other's cars and fixing each other's cars. But if it has to happen, it has to happen, doesn't it?
So
he don't put me in because he has to fix it.
I was just going to say, is it a case of avoid each other so that you don't have to repair each other's vehicles?
If you just stand there, should I fuel them up?
Righty tighty.
So, can you tell me what your most memorable moments are from your time racing V8s? Come to Matt, I think, first on that one.
Yeah. To be honest, I've had a good couple of moments over the years. I think sort of one of the big ones for me, I've only ever won one race so far, which was at Buxton. So that was, sort of quite a big moment for me, sort of actually winning one. But apart from that, just having some really good sort of battles along the way. I sort of tend to really do quite well at Hennisford. Sort of really sort of gels with the car that I've got and sort of do quite well there. So the British, not obviously last year, the year before, was doing really well, was sort of battling with the top people and sort of in the top six. Unfortunately got some damage and ended up getting taken out of the race, but at the time was having some really good battles, exchanging the bumpers and sort of really keeping up with it all. And that was a cracking race for me. I did, the season before we had a full weekend at Ennisford and I did really well there. I think I got I can't remember if it was second or third in the Gold Cup over the weekend as well. So Hennisford, has definitely always been a good track for me, and I've had some really good races there. So that'll probably be mine.
Okay, what about you, Stephen?
There's a lot of memorable ones, really. Some you want to forget for specific reasons, but that's that. But I think the one that sort of sticks, you always remember your first final win, or whatever you have. But I think the most memorable one for me is Northampton. It was when it was still tarmac. And I think it was our first time as on the World Masters Day, all that I can remember anyway. And we had a really, really good. We got second in the under-25, second in the heat, and second in the final. And it wasn't there. And we just kept pushing and pushing, and we managed to get a win in the nationals. But it was to go away with that many trophies and that many points for one day. It was magic, really.
Which would you say are the best and worst tracks for you guys?
To be honest, I don't think there's anything that I'd say is necessarily actually a bad track. Obviously, you have your tracks that you prefer, and you've got your tracks that you sort of perform well at. Like I said, some of my favourites are Hennisford. You know, I quite like Birmingham and Buxton as well. To be honest, Skegness, again, you know, to be fair, all tarmac ones for me. If I was going to pick one on Shale, I do quite like Sheffield, to be honest. I know we don't tend to do many there, but that's a really good tack on the good track for Shale, to be honest. But I don't think there's any that I'd say is a bad track for myself, to be honest.
Is that the same for you, Stephen, or?
Yeah, all tarmac tracks we enjoy. I think probably Birmingham I like that. I like Birmingham. I think that's probably a stronger track for me. But Shale, again, I can't say it's a bad track. It's not really done them all, but we just want to.
We'll change it this year.
Yeah, we'll see which one's about. He got Matthew says about Sheffield, but we'll see if he says it after he's at the fence. But there we go. I'm not saying anything.
That was a good part.
And it like a banana, and it like Beckham.
He might not hear it.
No, I never hit the fence. Never hit the fence.
So during your time racing, are there any standout funny moments that you can think of?
I think Skegness, that Skegness weekend, or even a weekender, is always a funny moment. But it's hard to say, really. You know, there's all sorts that has happened that we've witnessed, and even on the way to a meeting, it's been funny. And we can laugh at it now, but when we was going back from Skegness, I know it sounds daft. The wheels fell off the truck. I know this sounds daft, but it was me, my dad, and my mum. Matthew had gone for the week ahead, so he got in his car. So he come home. And so my mum phoned him. He said, "Oh, the wheels have come off the truck." He went, "All right, okay. I'm just at home. I'm just about to get in the bath." So he was like, "Well, thanks for that. You know, we'll get home at 4 o'clock in the morning. It's no problem."
He rang me up. He went, "We're in a ditch trying to find the wheel." I went, "All right, I'm just turning the hot tap off. All right."
Nice sympathy then. So who would you say that your main rivals are?
Everyone on track.
I suppose that's it. You know, at the end of the day, you're out there racing. You're out there to try and win and try and, you know, sort of be the person that you're against at the time, sort of thing. Obviously, the good thing about the V8s is it's a good community, and you know, when you get in the pits and it's a good community spirit and you're chatting away, but there's nobody that you sort of, I don't have anybody personally that, you know, you sort of sit there and go, that's who I'm going to, you know, sort of put into the fence, or that's the person I'm going to let by. It's, you know, every car comes up and you're trying to sort of fight for that position and keep in front and get the position. So there's nobody necessarily that I would say, you know, sort of have a particular to do with or anything like that. But like I said, it's, you know, sort of fair game when you're out on track and you're out there to win and to try and beat them, really.
Okay.
For me, really, there's no one that's a main rival. You know, we just anyone that wants your position, I suppose that's a rival, isn't it? But you want that position. Probably Matthew's my main rival. I want to beat him. But my dad keeps giving him good tyres.
So is there any favouritism there, do you think, Paul?
Possibly, because he says, "Oh, he only has a few meetings, so we give him the good tyres." Like, thanks a lot. I'll just struggle, should I?
He's just sick of you throughout the week.
Yeah, that's true.
Is that it then? So while you're at work, then, Paul,
like
if he winds you up, you're just going to start giving Matt the better
I'll
time.
let his tyres down.
Starts loosening a couple of balls.
It's all right now. That's proper. That, yeah. Go on. You've not working. Sorry, Don. We're handling very well. The tyres have been wet.
So I think we've already touched on what your racing highlight careers. I think, you know, yours at Hednesford, Matt, you know, your wins as well, you know, Stephen. So, I mean, we've got Bradford Stadium coming back to being a race venue again this year, hopefully. Being local to you, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's good for the sport that, you know, we've got another track that's coming back. Obviously, we've lost a few over the sort of past couple of years, and it's nice that we've actually got one coming back rather than losing one. Obviously, like I said, for me and Stephen, you know, we sort of don't tend to do a lot of shale and stuff, but you know, they're putting the time and the money in, and it's turned out that it could be a really nice track. Like I said, it's quite local for us, so should be quite a nice easy one to get to. So looking forward to sort of giving it a go and try and get used to it, and try and sort of get used to the shale a little bit as well.
I was going to say shale track as well for you.
Yeah,
So.
that's it. So go sideways instead of forwards. But no, it should be good. It's, you know, it's another track for us, another one to try and learn. And if anything as well, it kind of puts everyone on a little bit of an even playing field, because obviously we're sort of still learning shale a little bit, but nobody knows what the Bradford track is like. So, you know, it's not as though you've sort of got some of these who have been in the sort of formula for many years, and they know exactly, you know, you hit that bend at that point, or how to particular sort of drive anything, and it's going to be sort of completely fresh for everyone, and it's going to be sort of complete learning, and should be quite interesting, I think, when we get out there.
Yeah, I think it's good because it's going to bring a lot of the older drivers back. I know a few of them have been a few of them have been messaging around V8s of cars that are for hire, and even Formula Ones. I know it's Formula Ones, but for V8s, they're wanting to hire them. So that just it brings back their childhood, as you say.
Yeah.
Reenacts their younger days. But no, I think it's great. You know, like Matthew said, they're putting the time and the money in, and we'll try and support as many meetings as we can there.
Brilliant. Matt, you seem to race fewer meetings than Stephen. Is there any particular reason for that?
Just sort of different lifestyle. You know, my job and my home style, it just sort of, you know, there's a little bit of demand there. You know, my wife's in the police, so she does sort of shift work and things. So sometimes trying to arrange, sort of trying to get the dog sorted and things like that. You know, there's sort of a few little sort of issues and things there that can sort of take me away. Obviously, you know, like different bits of home life, you know, going seeing different bits of family and friends or things like that. But like I said, it does come down to work as well. My work sometimes takes me away for, you know, like not usually on a weekend, to be honest, but it does mean that, you know, that I don't sort of get as many hours, especially during the week, as my dad and Stephen, because for them it's you know, they can close the garage at R5 and sort of go and get stuck in. But if my car's not done, I always say, you know, they're the ones that are there putting the time in, putting the effort in. Obviously, you know, they do help out on mine a lot. If anything, they do a lot more than what I do. But it's one of them where, you know, yeah, that's it. I always say to them, they do, to be fair, and you know, I always just say to them, you know, prioritize Stevens, because he's the one sort of, you know, he's obviously got more time to do it. He's, you know, he's sort of more serious about it, and you know, his car is always the priority. Mine's sort of always on the back burner in my eye, sort of thing. And I sort of always express that to them, of make sure he's the one that's sort of done first, because he's the one who can sort of put more time and effort in, really. So just sort of time constraints. That's all it comes down to, really.
Yeah. So what sort of goals, you know, do you have different goals to Stephen, do you think, with your racing, or is it the same?
I'd like to think that I still have the same sort of goals. I mean, obviously, like you said, you know, you're only doing a number of racing throughout the year, so you can't really sort of go for your national points as such. But you know, for when it's coming to some of your other championships, such as your British, your European, things like that, where you can win them on the weekend, or even your world finals. You know, try and do as many world final meetings and things. There's always the goals there, or you know, even some of the smaller trophies of, you know, just that's it on the day sort of thing. So there's always trophies there to be won, and obviously you're out there to try and win and try and get what you can. So it's nice to say that you can go out there and compete for them. Like I said, you know, something where it's needing the dedication and the time, such as the national points, is obviously possibly sort of out of reach as such. But you know, you still like to sort of throw your hat in the ring for, you know, going for some of the championships and stuff. Like I said, you know, Hennisford for the British a couple of years ago was sort of really up there for that one, and you know, it just didn't sort of go my way to be able to sort of keep in the race, but was hoping that I'd possibly even get a podium on it. So yeah. You've got to be out there to try and win it at the end of the day. So just keep going, try and get to the top.
Okay, so what are your plans then for the 2021 season? Is there any plans going forward?
I think it's just sort of try and get out as much as we can, and obviously, you know, try and sort of learn as much as we can, get as many points as we can, and obviously win as many as we can, sort of thing. Obviously, like I said, Stephen does a lot more than I do, so he'll be able to get out to a few more meetings and everything. But obviously, like I said, for myself, it'll be try and get out there to as many meetings and just get out and enjoy it as well. You know, it's obviously great to sort of, you know, have a trophy on your wall at the end of the day, but at the end of the day, the main thing is coming away with a smile on your face. You know, sometimes I've had some absolutely cracking races and absolutely come off absolutely beaming, and I've not even been in the points. You know, you're battling for 12th at the time or something, and you've had an absolutely, you know, fantastic race, come off and gone, you know what, really enjoyed that. And that to me is sort of one of the main things. Like I said, it's nice to have the you know, the championships and all that sort of stuff, but if I'm going out there and having a good time and having fun, then you can't say better than that, really.
Yeah. And your goal, Stephen?
To be honest, I want to take the step and get to red and possibly superstar. I think that's the goal for this year. And if we can try and pick a championship up, then that'll be the icing on the cake, I think. But no, just have fun. You know, I think once you're doing well, then the fun comes natural. Really, you don't have to work as hard. I know it sounds daft, but you don't have to work as hard to try and get that place. You know, it sort of comes as you go along. But no, we just take it as it comes, I suppose.
And I do believe at the moment we've got a car reveal.
Yeah.
That's all. Whoever has, I don't know which way you could say.
My dad owns all the cars, apparently.
Stephen has a different point to that one.
Yeah. He does.
Yeah, they're all mine.
No.
But yeah, no, it's a new car for me for this season, a new tarmac car. Again, you know, we've sort of learned a lot over the years, and obviously, like I said, for me, it's sort of been not as many as Stephen. So when he bought his car, obviously it was for him, and he was sort of able to use it and get the potential out of it. But we have learned a lot from obviously having that car and seeing how it was set up and sort of the modifications that there are there between sort of our original cars and what Stephen had. And it sort of just showed that, you know, there was some things that not necessarily lacking on ours, but, you know, just sort of showing the advancements of where the car could be. So when this car came up for sale, then it was just sort of a decision that we had to make, and with the money spender, he'll put his hand up over there. But yeah, it was definitely a decision to make, and it was one that we thought, yeah, it was one that we want to go for, because it's the only way sort of that we could see of going forward with the car that we had. We can get the potential out of it that we can, but the car that we've got should be a very quick one, and hopefully sort of see us through to getting some good results.
Super. Paul, your job as chairman, what does that involve?
As what, sorry?
Your job as chairman, what does that involve?
Being on the phone all the time.
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah, he's on the phone 24/7.
Yeah. It's just mega all the time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really? Go on. You can say it if you want.
He wants, you know, it's obviously good that he's on the board, but a lot of work goes on behind the scenes that no one sees. You know, this past couple of weeks, months before saw this, he was on the phone all day. You know, he didn't deal with any work, to be honest. So he's that was, you know, I'm still sort of learning the garage, and that was sort of a bit stressful at times. But no, we got through it.
What, because you're saying he's
he comes for the job. Well, yeah, he says he's on the phone, but I don't believe it. I think he's in Butty Shop or something. Phone him up, how's your phone ringing? I thought you was on it.
It's when you see him in the truck in the bed and he's just having a sit down.
Yeah.
No, it's been quite stressful recently, and getting all the board know about it. It's been very, obviously people don't understand how it goes on for things that to get racing as we want it to be for all the drivers. We want it to be, everybody to be as happy as they can, and we want to be racing as many tracks as we can. And everything now, quite honest, has come to fruition, and it's looking a very, very rosy, season, really. And all the board have put mega into this year, because it's been really stressful. Phone calls all the time. Sometimes, I'm quite honest, I didn't even do any work. I know Stevens is not too bad, really, but yeah. So it's all the board have been non-stop. It's just been really trying to sort out the racing, which is it's been a funny time really with the COVID and all that, and it's caused problems.
Okay.
So we've been really on the ball with it. I know it's been really stressful at times. You know, you still think about it when you go to bed or having your tea. Bloody hell,
Yeah.
what's about this? What's about that? You know what I mean? So it's been really eventful, I should say. But the amount of people, Sophie and Pete Falding, BSCDA, they've really worked their socks off. It's been really good, and it's all come to fruition. We've got a very good season coming up. We've got virtually, I think every meeting is sponsored, and I must admit, thank you to all the sponsors that's going to put forward their sponsorship for the meetings. I can't tell you who they are at the moment, but every meeting is going to be sponsored, and it's really thank you to everyone on the board, and at the BSCDA, Sophie and Pete Folding, like we say, and it's well done to everybody. Thank you very much.
Big team effort there.
Big team effort.
Yeah. You've sponsored V8s. Why do you feel that's important?
Why have I sponsored V8s?
Yeah.
It's just basically, I like to give, obviously I enjoy the racing. I like to give back what I can and give as much back as I can to drivers to get, you know, it's nice to have a trophy and some money at the end of it. And that's why I do it. We sponsored the trophies and stuff like at Taunton and stuff like that last year. But no, it's you can do lots of things, you know, you can do all sorts of stuff. But I enjoy, our family enjoy, and the garage, Chapel Motors, enjoy to basically sponsor meetings, because, you know, that's what our family are about. We're about racing, and why not sponsor the V8s, because that's what we do. So yeah, that's it's great. I just want people. Not if whoever wins, if we win, we win. But I'm not really bothered who wins. Whoever it was, it'll all come up great. Like Stephen says, if you got a trophy, you got some money at the end of it. You got you know, first, second, or third. It's great. And then they fought for it, and they've won, and they deserved it. That's why I enjoy it. Really, yeah. It's to put stuff back to the sport.
So what's it like then actually helping to run a sport like the V8s? And I know you said on the board, you know, it's been really tough just lately, but, you know, actually helping to run the sport like the V8s, what's that like?
Well, I expect any. I used to be on the Formula 2 board years ago, and we used to go travel mainly to Birmingham on meetings. This is years ago, and Karen, my wife, said, "Whatever you do, you're never ever going to go on a committee again." And guess what? I am.
Been on about 6 since then.
So no, it's just sorry.
No, go ahead.
It's just basically you want the best for everyone. You know, if there's no basic, oh well, we're going to do better out this or whatever. You've got to think about every single driver, everybody who wants to race out there. You got to keep them. Basically, everyone's the same. So you want to get that. If all the racing's the same, everybody's happy. That's when it's good racing, because you don't want someone standing out. You want to make sure it's a fair formula, and that's what we go for. This is what we try to make it show, and it's like that. Guys on it obviously there's Mick Harris, there's Neil, Les, and we're all basically there for the drivers. We're just a spokesperson, but obviously we've been voted on, so we want to do the best for the drivers, and that's what we're here for. Yep. Some people don't like it sometimes, but we have to make decisions for the better of the sport, and that's what we try to do.
I think that's it, isn't it? You can't always keep everybody happy. It's, you know, you're never going to please everybody, are you? In whatever you do.
That's right. You're dead right. Yes, definitely.
So I know, obviously, you know, it takes up an awful lot of your time, but life away from racing, what do you like to do?
Sit there with his feet up.
That's a difficult one. Well, sometimes we get a weekend off whenever we can go somewhere. If without the COVID, we just go to. My mother was from the Lake District, so basically we just go to the lakes and just go in a hotel there and just chill out, go in the jacuzzi or whatever, swimming pool, and just chill out for the weekend. it's
Yeah,
nice to do that.
I suppose your wife deserves that weekend, doesn't she? As soon as you've gone on another committee, then
Well, I
Paul.
always,
She enjoys Skegness. I don't know what you mean.
yeah, Skegness is great. There's no swimming pools there though.
Can't meet a game of stickies in an evening. Stickies in the evening with his slap on
Stickies,
tape.
Yes, yeah. At the stickies, yeah. I don't know if anybody knows about that. That the caravan club at the caravan site at
Mark Simpson's
Mark
Cottage
Simpson's,
Farm.
yeah, Cottage Farm. They have a night there at and it's called Stickies, and it's a bit of a different
Strange game, should we say?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I got roped into a game of that one weekend.
You know about it, yeah.
It's
And if
like,
you sat in someone's chair, you're well looked upon.
yeah, frowned upon. It was like,
Don't
oh.
upset the regulars.
Go
Don't
in
upset the
my
regulars.
chair.
Do any of you think you would consider racing anything else other than V8s?
I know Stephen. He has his eye on an F1. He'd love to have a go in an F1. At the end of the day, I think we all would. You know, the F1's obviously the higher sport as such. The one that everyone would say, you know, if they're completely honest, that's the one that they like to do. Obviously, it's just time and money and stuff. But yeah, I think F1s would be quite good. I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, for me, it's getting out there and having some fun. You know, I'd love to try a whole host of stuff, but again, it's just sort of time and money and sort of finding the thing that you're into, sort of thing. But yeah, I think I'm enjoying the V8s and all that sort of stuff. It is a good one for me to be in and stuff. But I love a cheeky going in an F1, I will admit.
Yeah, I think like Matthew said, the Formula One, that's the pinnacle into. That's the one that everyone wants to race. But we've got a license for one, so whether we can use it this year, fingers crossed, we'll be able to have a meeting in it. But we'll just have to see how it goes. Other than that, there's all sorts of things. Anything with an engine and four wheels, I think is where it can be raced, I suppose. But no, a rallycross or even like touring cars or something, just to have a go in it.
With that, I can see the look on his face there.
Well, you know, they have to get his wallet out even more then, wouldn't they?
You're staying with V8s.
yeah, but no, there's nothing that would. No, V8s are the 100% commitment. We wouldn't go to anything else. Just as a practice, really, that would have a go in it. Would like to, but no, that's that.
Out of all of the current drivers at the moment in the Formula, which drivers stand out to you?
For me, I mean, obviously, you know, Ollie did really well winning the gold top last time he was out. You know, Kevin Stutchbury, he's obviously, you know, always there at the front and stuff. And I mean, you know, there's plenty of drivers out there that, like I said, you know, for me, you know, I've had some cracking races with, you know, sort of, you know, all the sort of best ones and even the ones further back. And like I said, you know, it's nothing against any driver and stuff. You're having some great races all the way through the ranks. I mean, you know, we always have a good laugh in the pits. I mean, quite sort of good friends with Jagger and Billows. We always have a good laugh with each other, Danny Scholes and stuff. You know, we're always sort of having a bit of a knockabout together and stuff. And just something like that, you know, you're always having a good laugh and stuff. So even though, you know, you sort of having them sort of races along the way and stuff and trying to get to the top, you know, some of the standout ones are obviously the ones that are sort of winning week out, winning week in, week out. And like you said, you've got your Stutchbury and Ollie Spencer at the top, and they're sort of obviously at the sort of the pinnacle of the sport at the moment, and sort of the ones that you obviously sort of aspiring to sort of get the sort of lap times like and the speed like and following their lines and things, and just really trying to have a good dig with, really. So Stephen would like me to say that I'd like to compete against him, but
maybe this year.
Yeah, one day you'll be there.
Might be this year.
I think everyone that, to be honest, I think everyone that gets in a stock car is a standout driver. You know, there's a lot of people that wouldn't like to do it, and you know, fair enough, I could understand that. But you know, everyone's capable of winning, and there's not a car on track that's not capable of winning. It's just, yeah, everyone's a standout driver. You know, like Matthew says, you know, you get the top drivers there. They're the main mistakes. Ones, but yeah, when it comes down to that one, you know, you get that flashing lights in your mirrors. Whoever it is, they can bottle it or they can lock up. Anything could happen in a race. But yeah.
So, I mean, who would you say then are your top three V8 drivers of all time? if you had to go back through history?
It's an hard one. There's been not many good drivers. I think probably Kev's up there. He's been longer, probably racing longer than I've been alive. So I don't think he'll like me to say that, but there we go. But no, for what he's done throughout the sport, the amount he's won, or he's always there on the day, without a shadow of a doubt. He's there. Chris BriSCA for what he did, championships on a run, if it will ever be done again. Adam Joyce, when he was on his day, you get Steve Thompson. They were all good, to be fair. It's hard to pick them, to be fair. I can't say about older drivers because I'm not that old.
Maybe Paul might have an idea then.
I was gonna say I wasn't trying to indicate something there.
Go on, Matthew.
Yeah, to be fair, Stephen's kind of covered it there. There's been sort of plenty of drivers. I mean, for us, especially with the V8s, it was sort of, it was obviously that they were sort of racing at the same tracks and stuff that we were visiting, but it was never really that we sort of followed it up until we sort of got involved with it. So a lot of the sort of standout drivers for us would be your more sort of past couple of years, like Stephen said. You got like sort of Stutchbury, Joyce, Thompson, some sort of eras. Obviously BriSCA, we were sort of came in towards the back end of when he was sort of finishing his sort of racing in the V8. So, but I mean, the Spencer brothers, they're really quick. At the end of the day, there's plenty out there. And, guys up there as well. He'll want a little cheeky mention. Catherine Harris, she came in and sort of wiped the floor with it in the first couple of years. Matt Barnard again, Gillen, he's come in and his first season he's done really well. So there's plenty of sort of really good drivers up there that you could name, and there's plenty that I'm sure will sort of keep progressing and sort of keep coming up the ranks as they're coming through. Like I said, for us, it's asking for a standout driver from the past and stuff. It's quite limited to the past couple of years that we've actually been involved with it, really.
So can you tell me then the story about behind purchasing Adam Joyce's car? You did mention him earlier.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it was pretty much my dad's doing of when I said that he's on the phone a lot. He is on the phone a lot, and it was a phone call conversation of that the car was coming available, and he sort of rang me up and said that it was available and was I interested and stuff. And I think you'd be stupid to turn down such a good car. Yeah. Well, yeah, which one we ended up with both of them now. But yeah,
say that, Matthew. Yeah.
It's out now. It doesn't matter now. So, but yeah, no, it's that's it.
The first one.
Yeah, the first one or the second one. No, like I said, for my one, it was the sort of offer came up, and it's an offer you can't really refuse if you've got one of the top cars being offered to you, sort of thing. And it's as long as you can afford it and you can sort of put the time in and sort of keep it at that kind of level, you'd be stupid not to say yes to it, really. So that's how it sort of came about a bit.
I suppose having Stephen and your dad there then in the background is going to help with that.
Just a tad, yeah. Like I said, I'll say
it too much.
Yeah, when I start beating Stephen, you'll say that I start getting slower because he's been messing up.
I'll have the good tyres then.
Yeah. Mine will be the one with the flats.
Have either of you any desires to win major titles?
Yeah, I'd say so. At the end of the day, like I said, you're always out there to sort of try and do your best and try and win. Like I said, for me, I don't do as many meetings as what some of the others do and as what Stephen does. So something like the national points, I'd obviously say I'd love to be able to get, but you'd be safe to say you're sort of out of my reach. But for some of the championships, like I said, your European, your British and stuff that can be won over a weekend or a day or something like that. As long as you're having a good day on that sort of day and over that weekend, it's not out of your reach, and you can sort of hopefully sort of throw your hat into the ring and have a good couple of races and put yourself out there, and hopefully you can do. That's the goal, to go out and win and try and get your name on the trophies, especially some of the big ones. It's nice to be able to sort of get your name put on it. So yeah, it's always the goal, isn't it?
Yeah, I think everyone's out there to win. If you then if there's a championship on that weekend, then that's the one that you want to win, isn't it? It's well, like we said earlier, even your smaller ones like your Gold Cups and your Memorial ones, they're all like a championship.
They're all
Everyone
special,
wants to,
aren't they?
everyone wants to win them. So I suppose that's in a way that's just as good as winning a big championship.
Where do you see the future of the sport heading?
I think with we'll go on, Steve.
I think it's in a good place at the moment. There's a lot of young drivers, going to be a lot of young drivers coming into it. So I think it's going to be in a really good shape. And unfortunately, COVID sort of put a bit of a stop and shook everyone up really. Every motorsport shook everything up. But no, I think it's going to be in a really good place when it gets back to normal.
I think, like Stephen said, there's always a good sort of feed from, sort of the younger drivers coming from minis and things like that. There's a lot of good cars out there for sale at the moment. And, as obviously a lot of them will possibly come into an age where they can't race minis anymore. Some of them obviously do make a step into, F1s, or they go different ways into F2s, things like that. But you do get a lot that do come into the V8s and, sort of keeping the sport going. There's plenty of drivers that I'm sure will be coming through, and the sport is going, sort of going well, going from strength to strength. And it's becoming a better option for a lot of them, whether they use it as a stepping stone to go into F1s or whether they sort of stick around in the V8s. It's like I said, there's plenty of cars about for them to be able to get into and bring sort of more people into it and keep bringing the name of the sport up, really.
Now, I've got to ask, is there any chance we could see father and both sons all on track together?
Yeah. It might be on a practice, but I don't know about that. My body can't take the hits anymore. It's like knackered. Is that swearing? Anyway.
No, you're all right. We'll let you off with that one.
No, it's good because, quite honestly, we I don't know if we're saying it now, but we've got to do a reveal. Yeah, we've got Matthew's previous tarmac car. We're completely revamping that. That's having a mega hit, that one. So we were doing that car before we acquired another one, basically. So it was a bit of a decision. What do we do? Should we keep doing, because it was completely cut up. It was all like mega, really, bones. So we're still doing that. We're still going to bring Matthew's old tarmac car, which would be completely and utterly revamped. So that's still ongoing, which will be finished. And obviously the other one's going to be coming up. So it'd be nice, actually, sometime to I couldn't race anymore. That's not for me now. Back's too bad. But yeah, I quite fancy going out and having a whiz round with them on a practice, because we could probably do, because we'd have 3 cars, tarmac cars. But yeah, I'd quite like that, and give him a taste.
So we can wallop him straight in, I suppose. But we can't say too. He's got to take us there and back onto.
He's got to drive the truck home.
I was just about to say, I'll come and join you, Paul. I'll come for a practice match with you. But now you've said you're going to be walloping me into the wall, I think I might give it a miss.
I've always said it all along. 3 wheels, pick your post. There you go.
Is there anyone, finally, that you would like to thank?
For me personally, it'd be obviously sort of my mum and dad mainly, and Stephen. They're putting a lot of the time and the money and the effort in. Obviously, I put in what I can and things like that. But they're the sort of the main ones that are sort of. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be out on track at all. Never mind week in, week out. And I know it's not week in, week out essentially for me, but I wouldn't be out on track at all if it wasn't for them. So to be given the opportunity, it's just sort of I can't say any sort of greater for them to actually get me the opportunity and sort of keep sort of putting that money, that time in, that effort in to be able to sort of buy the cars, do the bits, and sort of also the sort of bits of learning as well. He's a guru of all masters, is my dad, and he'll sort of tell you what you need to know and tell you where you're going wrong, especially. He'll never let up on that one. But yeah, no, and then obviously plenty of friends, family, everyone for the support, and everybody in the sport as well. From when we first started, everyone's sort of we can walk around the pits and ask anybody a bit of advice, a bit of tips, and things like that. It's a great community.
Tell you wrong though, wouldn't they?
Oh, yeah. He turning left. Oh no, right. Oh, which one? So no, it's a great community to be part of, and for everybody, we've had help along the way from all sorts of different people, like especially we've got good friends with it. Brian Andrews has been a really good sort of part of our learning. He's obviously been in the sport from pretty much day dot. So he's been a real good one to sort of get involved with and sort of get advice off, and just generally just getting sort of a few tips and stuff. But like I said, the whole sort of community of the V8s is, you can credit to everybody for sort of keeping people's interest and everything as well, really. If you, like I said, if you're not having fun, you wouldn't do it. And to go out there week in, week out and to race against everybody, whether it's a white top, a superstar, or it's somebody just hiring, it's cars on track, and it's somebody to sort of have a good time with.
Yeah, I think we, like Matthew said, he's pretty much hit the nail on the head. We want to thank everyone, sponsors, everyone that helped us when we first came in, still help us now. My dad, my mum, for keeping our tea warm when we're in at 12 o'clock at night or whatever time we get in. But no, everyone, it's just we're grateful for the friends and memories and all the advice, all the help that we've had along the years, and hopefully we can help people and they can still help us, because we're here for quite a few years, I would imagine.
Thank you so much for talking with me this evening. It's been a real pleasure, and I really look forward to seeing you again in the pits sometime soon.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for having us.
We'll see you with your overalls on.
Yeah, again, and I'll probably come for another cable as well.
Full of shale. On a really wet night, it's lovely.
Take care.
Cheers, thank you.
Thank you.